Well, while I was with Thermax, a bunch of us decided to go to Las Vegas. And all my buddies, they stopped. After they lost 50 bucks, they stopped. For some reason, I thought I could beat the system. So I ended up losing $2,000, right? I was born in Chandrapur, Maharashtra. My dad he worked for the state government. He worked with the PWD. My mom has always been a homemaker. I don't remember my dad being around a whole lot. He had a traveling job. We would get transferred every couple of years. No, not really. So, I never thought that I was going to become an entrepreneur. Back when I became an engineer, it was not really a fashion. The first money I earned was a paycheck. I didn't have the Kida early, on childhood. I didn't sell firecrackers. I didn't sell newspaper door to door. None of that fancy stuff. Until 12th, I had kind of studied in Marathi medium. I could not speak a sentence of English. And I remember, asking questions in a physics class in Marathi because I couldn't speak English. And all the girls used to shout, English mein baat karo, English mein baat karo. And I used to feel very shy. When I went to Pilani, I was forced to speak English because I was cohabitating with guys from Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh. I mean, it so happened that after 4 years in Pilani, I can actually speak quite a lot of Tamil. And again, it's because of Pilani. That's where I picked up my English, and that's where I picked up my accent also. So, I was a state topper in 10th. I had studied in a very obscure school called CP and Berar High School in Ravinagar. In 12th, when I joined Islap College, I was 4th in the state in 12th. And that kind of automatically got me into BITS Pilani, because BITS Pilani there was no BITSAT and all that back then. It was purely dependent on your board marks. BITS Pilani is a 3.5-year course really. You do 1 semester of practical training, or what they call practice school. So I was terrible at computer programming, and we had this course called competition techniques. I almost made a D in that course. I could never do the double sort, the Boolean sort, all these things, the push, the pop. When I went for my practice school 1, I went to Hindustan Aeronautics Limited in Nasik, HAL. And there they put us they couldn't figure out what to do with us because it's only a 2-month training. So they said, you guys do some programming. And so we learned COBOL and did some COBOL programming in HAL. This practice school 2 days in Pune. There's a company called IKIM, which was an India subsidiary of a UK-based firm called International Computers Limited. And I was a classic hardware engineer. I had a kit, I had a multimeter, and I had all these PCBs. I would carry a briefcase, and I used to go and visit Kirloskar Cummins in Kothurud. So very classic hardware engineer kind of a job. And one day, IKIM got a big project with Maharashtra State Road Transport Corporation to do an ST reservation system. So it was a massive project, required 40, 50 programmers. So IKIM basically just rounded all of us up, all the trainees and whoever, and said, who can spell COBOL, right? So I said, not only can I spell COBOL, I can actually program in COBOL. So they said, you're in. Okay. After the system was developed, we had to do training, and there was this massive hall, and almost I remember 100 people sitting there. And the project manager was a Bengali guy, and he was also a bit senior, about 4 or 5 years senior to me. He started training these guys. So he gets on the podium, starts speaking English. 5 minutes into his training session, one guy kind of raises his hand and he says, "Sir, Marathi bola." Again, oddly enough, out of that 2 or 40 programmers, I was the only guy who spoke Marathi. I ended up doing the training for all these bus conductors and all these ST employees. When you start to train users, you realize that you didn't quite take care of all the needs that the users have. Very nice experience there. But that's kind of by accident, right? Literally, I got into this IT kind of a job.